Welcome back to the Life by Design with Angela Weiss podcast, episode 22 Fearful Attachment When You Want Love, but You Pull Away from It. I'm Angela Weiss. I'm a dual board certified nurse practitioner, author, and someone who sits with people every day who have relational issues. Because anytime there's more than one person in a room, there's going to eventually be issues. If you're new here, I'm really glad you found your way in. If you've ever found yourself wanting someone, thinking about them, feeling deeply connected to them, and then almost just as quickly feeling the urge to pull back, shut down, create distance, I want you to listen to this episode all the way through. I think it'll speak to you. And at some point, you're probably going to think of someone else that it reminds you of. Maybe they act like that. When you do, please share this with them. Because what if the problem isn't that you're inconsistent? What if it's not that you're indecisive? What if it's not that you're too much or not ready or just haven't met the right person yet? What if the reality is part of you is trying to get close and another part of you is trying to stay safe at the exact same time? That's an internal push and pull. That I want you. Wait, no, I don't. Come closer. Actually, I don't think so. Please come back. That moment where you feel everything and then you suddenly feel nothing. That's not random. It's not something that you made up. That's not you being dramatic. That's what we call fearful attachment. Before we go further, just take a deep breath with me. Unclench your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Inhale slowly. And exhale. You don't have to figure all of this out today. We're just going to understand it a little bit better. Hopefully, when you leave, you do understand it better. Fearful attachment is one of the most painful places to live from when it comes to relationships. Because from the outside, it can look like you're hot and you're cold. You're unsure. You're pulling away for no reason. But from the inside, it may feel like, I want you, but this kind of feels like too much for me. Please don't leave me. But don't get too close either. I feel safe. Wait, why do I suddenly feel anxious? You can think about that other person constantly, feel emotionally connected to them, and want to be close to them. And then suddenly, you might feel overwhelmed. You need some space. You question everything. You go quiet. And later, you miss them. You replay the conversations you've had. You wonder, what just happened? You feel regret, confusion, and sometimes you even feel ashamed, embarrassed. Let me say this clearly. You are not confusing. You're running two survival patterns at the same time. This pattern forms in environments where connection wasn't consistently safe. Not always or necessarily abusive. Not always something that's obvious. But often, love was there, it just wasn't steady. And the care that you received, it might have been unpredictable. You needed someone, but also had to protect yourself from them at times. So your system adapted, as it always does. It learned, I need connection to survive, but I can't fully trust what happens when I get too close to people. It's not dysfunction, it's adaptation. So here's the part of this that may not have been explained clearly to you in the past, or maybe not ever explained at all. Fearful attachment is not one pattern, it's not one single pattern. It's often two that you carry. You might have anxious tendencies. You may feel activated when someone pulls away from you. You might think about them more often. You need or want reassurance. Everything feels urgent, like has to happen right now. Or you might have avoidant tendencies, where you feel overwhelmed when someone gets close or too close. You need space. You shut down. You question your feelings. So what happens? No matter what the other person does, your system is trying to constantly recalibrate. They pull away, you move toward. They move closer, you pull back. Sounds like a dance, actually, doesn't it? That's the push-pull. That's the loop. There should really be a dance called attachment styles. If this is hitting you right now, this might be the part you send to someone. Why you think you lose interest is, well, a lot of people just say, I don't know, I just get bored when they get too close to me. But clinically, that's usually not what's happening. What's actually happening is you are losing your emotional regulation. You are losing the distance that felt protective. You're feeling vulnerable, exposed. So your system says, back up. This could hurt. Even when your heart is saying, I don't want to lose this. Those two things can be happening at the same time. If your past relationships were intense, unpredictable, emotionally charged, then your nervous system learned intensity equals connection. So when you meet someone who's calm, consistent, emotionally available, steady, safe, you don't always feel relief. In fact, that might be a little scary. You feel maybe like something's missing because this isn't something that you're used to. But what's missing is not connection. What's missing is the chaos that your system has learned to recognize. It's chaos. Let's say this again. Calm is not the absence of connection. Calm is the presence of safety. Calm may not feel safe, but calm is safe. This is what it often looks like. You meet someone, you feel connection. They get closer, you feel overwhelmed. You pull back, that creates distance. They respond or they don't. You feel the loss and become activated. You want closeness again. And around it goes like a merry-go-round, like a carousel, right? Like the attachment carousel that you can't seem to get off, keeps spinning. And it's not because you're indecisive, but because you're holding a need for connection and a need for protection at the same time. I just keep thinking of that carousel spinning. People trying to get off. So let me say something that I really want you to hear. You're not pulling away because you don't care. You're pulling away because part of you cares a lot. It doesn't feel safe to stay. And if you've never been able to explain that to someone, send them this episode. If that's you and they can't understand you, send them this episode. Healing this is not about forcing yourself into closeness. It's about building the capacity to stay when your system wants to leave. Recognize safety without needing intensity. Regulate instead of react. It reminds me of that movie Runaway Bride, where they're always trying to get her to stay. And doing this, it doesn't happen overnight. But with consistency, it does happen. You can break that cycle. If you're listening to this and thinking, this is me, this is exactly what I do, I want to support you in that. I have a book called Fearful Attachment. It's available on Amazon, along with all the other attachment books. And if you want something that's a little more guided, you can email me at angela@lifebydesign.org. Put Fearful Attachment Packet in the subject line, and I'll send you a companion packet to help you walk through this as we go through this attachment series over the next several weeks. We've already done avoidant, anxious, fearful. We've got secure attachment to come and how they collide. You can connect with me on my author website, which I'll link in the show notes, on Facebook at Life by Design Press, Instagram at Angela Weiss Author. I have a private practice, Wellness by Design Health, you can find online. And before I close, I just want to say thank you. This podcast is now reaching listeners across 5 continents. That's huge, actually. And it means more to me than I can fully put into words because I've only been doing this since last month. So wherever you are in the world, maybe you're in one of those countries I had to look up that I didn't even know they existed. I'm really glad that you chose to be here with me today. I'm really glad that you took the time for yourself because this is a learning podcast where I teach all sorts of things. In the upcoming videos, we'll talk about when anxious and avoidant patterns collide in relationships, why calm can feel uncomfortable, and how to move towards secure attachment without losing yourself. On Thursday, it's more about permission to stand down. On Sunday, the faith episode. Sometimes people tell you you're too much, and I just want to say you're not too much. And maybe you're confusing to them, but it's likely because they just don't understand yet. You're not confusing. You're someone whose system learned how to survive, and that's what you're trying to do. Keep going forward on the things that you learned in the past. But there's a better way to do this, and I'm here to help you learn that. If this episode helped you, send it to someone who needs it. Like, share, follow, that's how other people get to learn and heal also. This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for individualized medical or mental health care. If you feel you're in a crisis in the United States, you can call 911 or 988, the suicide crisis line. Thank you so much for being here today. And if there's something that you want to learn about that I haven't spoke of yet, because there's so much more to come, email me. Email me what you would like to learn about. Angela@lifebydesignpress.org. And I always say this, not everything that I say resonates with everyone. So just take what I say that you need. If it doesn't work for you, then just leave it behind and keep living your life by design.